Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
And we get the back view of him. And I mean, it's just a mega.
52 yards is a long shot. Magnum PI, what we named him. No idea.
Just a magnum.
Yeah, just a magnum.
Come on cam last year, we said probably 150, mid 150.
Yeah.
Same doe from the morning come out with that 9-pointer.
Here steps out this 90-inch 8-pointer. You're like,
I'm like, okay, well, there's still a buck back there grunting.
Yeah.
And then out steps like another 90-inch 8-pointer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like, deer right there.
Yeah, like
and he's already
yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
He was literally 5 yards from the base of the tree. Could have been, had a buck down at 1:40 in the afternoon, back there deep on public. 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 245, 24-yard shot, sent to combat veteran, and I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked. We always get so jacked up when the other person kills. It's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah. And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man.
And we come down here to Missouri.
I asked Comey one more time. I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right, boom. And the deer just drops. Sure. Super special to me.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy. Baller Rut.
Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast, coming in your ear holes for like the 230th time.
You're extra crispy. You're actually on the mic.
Yeah,
extra crispy right now.
On a mic in the basement right after work. Going to record a podcast, just me and homie here. Still lining people up for this series we've been hinting to you at, so we're kind of saving those in the bank and recording us right now during the kind of the start of the whitetail season, really.
Yeah.
Right now, so... Let's get into the people that make this possible, get in the show. Let's start off with Last Breath, guys. The launch party is coming up the 23rd of July. There's going to be 35 heads there mounted by Wayne Tompkins Taxidermy. And all these people are going to be able to go there and pick up their mounts. But there's going to be a deer show, so if you are in the local area and you have Wayne mount them, he can take them to this show, and you can kind of show your buddies, that night, instead of having them all come to your house and your wife get mad at you, to come check out the deer that you shot last year. But that's just another cool feature, kind of like a little deer classic deer show up there. Lot of bucks, big bucks, nice bucks, drop time bucks, a lot of cool,
a lot of different
stuff
poses
going on.
too.
Yeah, and you get a good idea of what Wayne can do, and it's just cool. Everybody that's at that show likes looking at deer, looking at deer mounts, so that's a nice little added feature. But we've mailed off multiple tickets, guys, from Pennsylvania to Virginia to, what was he saying, Ohio? Garrett was mentioning
Louisiana.
A bunch of them. So if you guys want to come, let us know. We'll mail those tickets off. It's getting close, so get a hold of us soon, and we'll get you some tickets, and you guys can make it up here. You got Exodus this week?
Yeah, as we mentioned in our last week's episode that we're getting ready for the summer truck cam deployment. Maybe you're in the same boat, or maybe you got some cams out there already soaking. Either way, just wanted to remind you guys to update your firmware. There's continuously new updates and improvements to the operating system of these cameras, and that's something that I wasn't really aware of, we'll say 6 years ago. And that's something that I learned through the YouTube side of Exodus on the technical playlist there. So if you're looking for more information like that, you can check them out on YouTube or Trocam Radio. And if you want to try one of these cameras, you can check that out at exodusoutdoorgear.com.
Yep. Format your cards, format your cameras, and buy your batteries. We just bought like
432 batteries.
432 batteries, one rip. So we should be good for the year, hopefully. Do you have the bow hunting league?
Yeah, I seen the update here. It was probably last Friday that there was 229 teams entered in currently. I know it's still early. We're only a week or two into signups, and that's going to get more heavily predominant as it closes there in August. So right now, there's only about 700 guys going to be participating. So your odds are fairly good to get into the competition and like actually be in the competition if you can get a buck down. And, like I said there last week also, you got some interstate prizes and competitions as well. So it's not the overall that you can also necessarily be worried about, but also the interstate competition. So still only 700 guys right now are signed up. So the odds are in your favor, I feel like. You got a good chance out there. So go ahead and get signed up at bowhuntingleague.com, 3-man team, and just go out there and hopefully smash.
Yeah. We're in it, hopefully to put down a little more bow inches than we did last year. We did all right.
We did all right. Y'all did all right.
We're gonna step it up this year, but that's it, right?
Yes.
Good to go, yeah. This episode, last 2 years I think we've done this, or at least last year. But anyways, you guys really liked it, and basically it's our talking back and forth, game planning of how we're going to hunt a 200-inch deer on public land. Last year it was a 190-inch deer. We were right on the money. I think he was a little bit better than 190. So we're saying he's going to be 200 this year. We know he's still alive. No hunters killed him. We know in January he was still kicking. So he was on that last card pull. So, I mean, if nothing else, he got hit by a car or something crazy happened, he's still out there running around. And kind of going into our talk here, we're not going to put cams out for a while, but once he is on there, if he's not on those cams, we know he's not there. Like, we're not going to – this isn't a deer that disappears. He's in the same area, consistently the last 3 years. So,
yeah.
So we're going to break it down and kind of talk about some stuff that we messed up on last year and stuff that we're going to change this year. Saying all that, the year before when he's 170, we encountered him. And then last year when he was 190, we did encounter him just right out of bow range. So this isn't some mythical deer that we're just getting trail cam pictures. We're actually seeing this deer, and we're right on the edge of him. Like, we're missing him, and he's hitting one of our cams, and we're out there hunting. We're only a few hundred yards off. So we're right in his area. It's just really fine tuning, and hopefully, like they say, when these bucks get older, their home range shrinks, and this deer's home range needs to shrink a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
He needs to stop moving.
For you guys that have been following us and followed our Rutcation last year, and just the podcast in general, just like when Cody was chasing Freeze, like, you just get on this deer, and it's what it's about. And I just got asked here on Saturday, like, what do I love most about hunting? And all the memories and everything are great, but like when you get that emotional attachment to the deer and then you're able to get it done, or, just be able to chase that deer because you really like that deer, doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest, because my number 2 deer is not the biggest by any stretch of the word big. And just having that connection with the deer, and year after year after year, it's going to be cool to just have at least, hopefully another go around if he shows up.
Yep. So we can kind of dig into it, but so this is this would be a 4-year chase. That's how long we were on Magnum. It was 4 year or Freeze. The
3 on Freeze.
3 on Freeze.
Yep.
Okay. So it took us 3 years to kind of pin him down. That was on a small property.
Yeah.
So this 4th year on this, I feel like we got a really good idea of where this deer is at, what time of the year he's at. He's late October. He's at a completely different area than he is during the rut, and we used to never be able to hunt this property late October, and they've kind of moved the dates around where we can hunt him and then kind of hunt him later rut. So the later rut's going to throw a curveball on us for sure. But the earlier October kind of really opens up some opportunities for us to go in there and hunt, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, because the time that he's showing up on cam is the times that we haven't been able to been out there in the October time frame. So this year, we're getting that opportunity when he does start showing up in the October time frame, and foregoing that first week of November, which I know we've seen him the first part of November 2 times, but I feel like he's more active in that October time frame.
He's more active in the area that we're hunting for sure in that late October.
Yeah.
He's starting to hit those scrapes and feel out that area, and then I feel like when the rut hits, he's making that 2-3 mile trek pretty much daily.
I know.
And covering so much ground. I feel like that October he kind of necks down and just really works that little area, and then when November comes, he just explodes. When Halloween, the 1st of November, he just, all right, I'm running everywhere. But so things we messed up on last year. Multiple properties. We were hunting multiple different properties. We were trying to figure out. So we had this giant buck, and we knew we were going to put some work in on him, but we had all these extra cams, and we were just kind of really gung ho last year. We were working with some companies on kind of like a series that never came through. So we were running a bunch of cams in a bunch of different areas, and I got absolutely burnt out running cams because you're just, I don't know how many pulls we did. It was a few, and it was always hot, and it wasn't like a 35-minute pull. It was like a 4.5 hour pull. It was.
I was watching some of that footage there last night, and just your shirt, it was down to your belly button, just soaked in sweat.
Yeah.
And it was just part of what we were doing, and after about 3 of those, you're like, all right, what am I really doing here?
And then we kind of got sidetracked on.
I was say that we threw a lot of effort at a deer, which I think everybody would have thrown some effort at it, but it was just a random big deer that we had no intel to go off of other than he's on cam.
Yeah, we had no intel from the past years at all. We just found a giant typical deer and was like, okay, we're going to go in after him, and we moved some of our cams out of Magnum and kind of focused on this deer, ran some mobiles over there, and the deer gave us maybe 4 times on cam and then never showed back up. Went hard horn and then kind of vanished. So that was a huge mess up. We knew we wanted to hunt Magnum. That was like our number one, but then we had this other buck. We're like, whoa, okay. He's here right now. This thing's, another absolute giant. It's in a different area than Magnum altogether. So maybe we could hunt this deer early and not hunt Magnum and pressure him. That was what's kind of going through our mind. But then we're taking,
resources from
away from Magnum to try to go after this other deer. So the number one thing is we're not going to try to target 8-10 different bucks. We're going to try to target Magnum, and if there's a deer in his area, and he comes by, that's great too.
Yeah.
But we're not going to try to spread ourselves so thin on that property to try to learn the whole thing at one time. We're not going to hunt the Magnum zone or the mag every time we hunt. Like if the wind's wrong or we got something to go, there's still other spots that we want to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the first 10 days of season that we need to be in the Magnum zone unless for some reason he's in there and we know he's in there. If, we need to be up there at Pickles or, somewhere on that little
the edge over
pinch,
there.
Right there. No reason to be in the Magnum zone on October 2nd. I mean, would be great if he's there.
We get jacked up and we want to go back there, and then it's never...
No reason to be back there. There's already plenty of other hunters back there, and we just need to wait. And just like last year, if we got that picture on the 23rd, we're like, okay, now we can go.
Yeah. So, number one, we're going to make sure that we have our resources on Magnum. So that means for us, Magnum is in a very, very hard area to get to for access and for hunting wise. Even the drive to get close to pull cam is pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
So they lock the main gate and you got to bike in and you got to walk all the way back there and pull your cams. So you're talking a 6-hour deal after you bike in, walk back there, half a day deal to just go pull cams. So we are going to run cams back there, but we're going to run an ass load of mobile cams back there. That's when you have 3 kids, homie has 2 kids, you got jobs. The mobile cams are becoming more and more valuable and less expensive. At first you're like, man, this is going to cost me $10 a month or $15 a month to run this camera out there. Plus I got to buy the camera. But now it's like, okay, now I don't have to go out there and pull all these cards. So we're going to put a ton of resources in his zone where we know that he likes to be, he likes to live. And I'm kind of excited for that because we're going to put cams in areas we never have. And that might pinpoint stuff
even
for
more.
Other bucks even that, that we can kill that we've just been missing. So last year we kind of went to, okay, this is where we had him on cam in the past. This is what we're going to do. And then we spread out from there thousands of acres on different pieces, and we're like, we're going to run some over here. Well, I've seen a good buck over here in the summer. We're going to run some over here. I've seen good bucks here in the past. We're going to put some over here. And then it was, let's move this over here. Let's move that over there. And it was just a jumbled up mess where now it's going to be, he's back here. We know where he likes to be. We're going to run the cams where he's at. And when he shows up, he shows up. Last year, we're trying to find him. We were trying to find him early. And he's not on that property early.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say. Like, we were trying to find him early so we could, get on him because we know our time's limited there. And I will say one good thing about us putting in that work last year and dispersing like that is now we know this year that we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we kind of got a really good idea of where the deer...
And this is just in general, if you're trying to learn a property or you got a new lease or something, just go balls to the wall one year. It's going to suck, but just get out there, work your ass off, and figure it out. And then next year, you know the intel. If everything's relatively the same, you're going to have that intel to bank on and pull from for years ahead.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be able to do this year. Don't want to make it sound like we're not jacked up and ready to go, but we're trying to be more efficient with our time, more efficient with our cams, our hunts, and get in there when we need to be in there.
Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, we were always playing the edge of this deer's zone because we did not want to bump him. Because finding the bedding area in this place is very, very, very hard. It's like overgrown pasture, nasty ground, deer bed everywhere. We bump deer all the time when you're walking through there to go hunt. They're bedded in just random spots. So we don't know exactly where he's bedding. So before we had an idea where he's at, but we were always like, okay, we're going to play on the edge, hunt this doe family group that he likes to visit, and hunt downwind of this doe bedding. This year, we feel like this is the year to kill him or it's going to be over. Someone else is going to kill him. More people are starting to know about him. And he's, absolute giant. We know that the neighbors on the private know about him. But anyways, we're going to go back into some stuff that we've never hunted in. We ran cameras back there, and we were just trying to play the edge. And that's where we're going to be running more cameras too. And we were hunting him on this very far, east edge. And there's a bunch of guys kind of right in the middle, and then there's no one on his western edge. And that's kind of where we're going to plan is every time we've seen him, he's either been coming out or going to that western edge. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try to play that western edge more now. And third thing is we're going to play that center. We've been really nice to the guys out there on this public land, trying not to hunt in the same places that they hunt. But it's time to push the edges a little bit. It is public land. We have been really nice about, not stepping on any toes out there. If there's a stand in the area, we're not hunting there. If there's cameras, but this year we're just going full send on it. We're tired of going in here and hunting this deer, and we want someone to kill him. Of course, we want it to be us, but once this deer is out of that area, I don't know if we're hunted. We definitely won't hunt it as hard as we are right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to go in there and hunt a certain couple spots on that ridge, because we're not talking we're giving them 5 acres. We're giving them, there's 4 or 5 guys, and sometimes they hunt together, sometimes they don't. We're giving them a giant chunk. And
huge chunk, yeah.
And they've been pushing into the stuff that we hunt a little bit. So we're like, okay, this year we're just going to try and go full send on. If we feel like that's where we need to be, we're going to go. So first thing, we're going to be more efficient with our cams in the area. Second thing is we're not going to try to hunt the edge of this deer's core area. We're going to try to get in there, and if we bump him, at least it was us and someone else instead of someone else. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to get right up in his grill and try to hunt him. And the wind is going to do weird stuff back there. We have no idea what it's going to do, so that'll be a learning curve. We need to really do some observation sets and try to figure out how the deer are working through that area back there on the first couple hunts. An observation set where you could still kill them, but just have an idea of what goes on past those ridges because we don't really know.
No, yeah, and it is so steep back there.
Yeah.
At least right at the crotch of where we walked up to last year. Like, that is down.
Straight down, yeah. So
compared to the top, that's, relatively close
relatively
there.
flat. So we're going to be going back in there. We wanted to do it last year. We're going to go in there on the ground, and we never did end up going. And then that's where he come out of and then went back into. So definitely know he's back in there in the daylight cruising around. So we've necked him down from maybe like, say 250 to probably 100, I'd say, acres. So I mean, if you can take 150 acres off a deer's core area a year, that's pretty dang good. You can get him necked down to some,
And I feel like that is the part that he's on, and that's it. Besides him going up.
Yeah, when he flies up there.
Yeah, when he flies up there. Other than that, and I mean, you can look at it on a map and probably pick how he goes right up there. I mean, we've done that, I think, a couple times. But other than that, I think he stays in that little rectangle on that piece, and then he's on the private.
Yeah, I think he lives mostly on the private, but there's just so many does that are up in there.
2/3 on the private and probably a third up here.
Coming up in there. So, I mean, the private's got way better land. It's got oaks. It's got the food plots. We got any oaks at all. No food plots on there. We just have does and cover. Nasty cover. So, let's see. We did the trail cams, more efficient. We're actually going to be in his area, and we're not going to let other people deter where we hunt. I think we should dig into that a little bit more. So these guys been super solid, and they're all out there. They know this deer's alive. They're one of the few people that are actually putting in the work to get back there and hunt this deer. So we were kind of like, man, these guys are working just as hard as us. This is an insane amount of work. Let's just kind of give them this area. And I don't know if we're dicks for finally being like, man, we're not going to be hunting 100 yards from your stand, but we're going to be on this ridge.
Yeah. And, I mean, isn't there one just in the timber, like 30, 40 yards right there where the timber starts to really pick up? I mean, we'll be within 100 yards of that stand, almost guarantee. But, like, we were out there on a Friday, and we're midday scouting. We're on a Friday. We seen this lone wolf hanging in this tree. There's a killer scrape right there, and we were trying to find a spot to set up, but then we seen that lone wolf there, and then we seen this other stand about 50 yards from it, and I was like, we're toss up. Do you hunt here or do you set up here for the evening hunt? And the way we were doing it is when you'd set up for the evening hunt, you'd come back in the morning, you'd already be set up. That way you're not setting up in the dark. But I'm like, well, tomorrow's Saturday. Like, that would be a really good day for them guys to be out here just because it's Saturday and it's November 8th. Like, what else are you going to be doing if you're out here?
Yeah.
And we ultimately decided not to
but we
end up
could
setting up
see
there.
that ridge, and no one hunted there. No one hunted at all.
And no one, And that's when we absolutely killed ourselves trying to find another spot.
Yeah, and we could have been set up there in a good area, but we were in our mind, we were like, okay, these guys are going to come in. We're going to be 150 yards from them. We're all going to be hunting together on this ridge. There's a lot of other ground. Let's try to cut off this pinch over here. But that guy is in the spot. One of those guys, if he listens to this podcast, he's in the spot. The deer went right by your stand, dude, twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're in the spot where we need to be, and it just goes back. You out there on a public and you see a stand, you're like, man, is this guy going to hunt here tomorrow? Am I in here early and he's going to come in 2 hours left of daylight? Like, there's a lot of factors that play into your decision making when you're out there trying to pick a spot to go with potentially other people.
Just like you said, like, nobody wants to go out there and have a shit hunt, or nobody wants to go out there and have some guy creeping in on them. Or you walk into your spot and you got a guy set up right there. I mean, nobody wants that. And just like you said earlier, we know how much work it takes to be back there and do what we're doing and do what they're doing, And it's just kind of a mutual respect thing. But 3 years, man, like, I mean, there comes a point in time where, and just like you said, they're kind of creeping.
Yeah.
They're drifting a little bit here and there. So, we're
They got on the ground and chased this deer.
Yeah, that's the
Like,
only way. That one other guy has seen this deer other than Cody and I, and that was one time he walked probably a half mile,
Yeah.
maybe a little more.
on the ground
On the
trying to
ground.
like stalk this deer. Once they did that, I'm like, these guys were literally, they're not afraid about bumping this deer. They will literally do anything to kill this deer. So we got to stop being like, okay, they're going to kind of chill in their area. We'll hunt around them.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to, we know where we need to go. We're just going to go there and hunt it. Because I feel like he's frequenting that scrape, and they don't have no cameras down there in that bottom.
I was
I'm like,
just thinking, I was like, I can't.
I guarantee you he's in there. Because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know he works the top scrapes and does a big circle.
Because the other guy has one north of
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
And then he's got one in the corner.
Yeah.
And then you had seen one on the south end.
Very far on the south, yeah.
Okay, but there's nothing in the middle.
Nothing in the middle right
Yeah,
there.
and
Remember,
that-
that's where I almost hung it. I was going to hang stuff in there, but then there was like cam.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, we're right in these guys' area. And we've had a lot of problems with trail cameras out there in the past. So we're like, man, you know, I don't want my shit messed with if it's right here by all these other guys' stuff.
Yeah, because
So,
I mean, if he's checking the cam north and he's got the one south, he needs to go out there and change a card or batteries or whatever. I mean, you're still out there kind of monitoring your cell cam.
Yeah.
You're at least checking on the shit.
Yeah.
And
So that's one thing we have to do. We just have to be a little bit more savage to try and kill this deer, which isn't really our personality type. We're kind of I'm kind of like laid back. You know, I would like to see anybody kill the deer. Of course, we want to kill them, but if someone else killed him, I'd be there to help dragging them out, just because we're in there because of that deer.
Yeah.
There's other good deer there, but there's also other good deer everywhere. You
and
know?
I mean, not to be like a dick about it, but it's well within the rules.
Yeah, it's public land.
Well within the rules.
We've been playing it like that's their private ridge for 3 years.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and like I said, they keep creeping towards us, and then they got on the ground and ran after this deer. And when they told me that, I was like, okay, that's about, on that type of terrain, that is the least chance that you ever have to kill that deer.
When you can't see 25 feet in front of you.
Yeah, but I mean, they did it, so I'm like, well, all the cards are out on the table now. It's straight. We're just out there all trying to hunt. And like I said, that's the only other guy that's actually seen this deer alive, and we've seen, you know, so the cams targeted more, the ground way less acreage, the hunter pressure, we're going to be right in the mix of those other guys, and the time of the year is going to change. So let's dig in on that a little bit. Time of the year. So this place has a limited time that you can hunt it and go in there. So we're going to go in there. It switched a week earlier, which is actually beneficial for us. So we talk about that past year camera data, you know. Oh, well, this picture on October 27th, it's November 3rd. Right now, that's not going to help me kill him, you know, this year. But for us, having that daylight picture at almost 8 in the morning on, you know, November or on October 27th or 28th, and then he was there on the 27th, and then he was there like the 24th, and you know, he was there repeatedly over and over and over, and we cannot hunt it. We had another buck daylight there like the 22nd in the evening, so we're like, okay, we know where we need to be late October in the evening. And we never had that option before. But if we wouldn't have ran a camera there for that all day or all year set, even though we don't get him on camera when we can hunt him, we don't get him on camera there.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't have had that intel, but knowing that if the shit changes, you need that intel, now we got it. We can make a move in there. So that all year camera soak of us just leaving it in that area really helped us out. And also, you know, getting pictures from other people help you out. We've said that multiple times. You know, you get a picture from someone else, don't just, oh, they got my deer and get pissed. Try to figure out what they got going on, where that cam is, where they're hunting, and that'll help put a lot of pieces together on what you got going.
Yeah, and we run the cams kind of in the same spot. I mean, really close to the same spots as we did 2 years ago. So that even helps reaffirm, you know, and I think last year we didn't have him on the kill tree in the back. We didn't have him on cam, but 2 years ago we did, and he was coming into the property. So I'm not saying that he never went that on that side, but we can at least, draw a line somewhere pretty close there that he didn't,
We've never encountered him over there.
Nope.
We've never seen him go over there, and we've never got a trail cam picture of him over there besides one time at 3 a.m. coming off a doe.
What we really need is the 2 times that I had him going out on the cell cam, going up there. I need to see if he went up there.
Yeah.
Like, that would be nice to know.
Yeah.
Because then it would be like, okay, this is the exact line.
This is the line.
Like, this is the line.
This is his line that he's comfortable traveling. Because when we seen him, he was coming off the hot corner, back around, did a big circle up there, and then went right back into the hot corner. Mm-hmm. So it's like he come out of his bedding, out of there, went up there, found a doe, did a big circle, then rolled right back out and went right back out the hot corner and right back into where he likes to be.
I also had him coming in on the cell cam there one time, I think. I know one time he come up from the south.
Yeah.
But one time he come in and then I got him on the trek on the other side of.
Yeah, where he looped around.
Yeah, I need to see. Is there anywhere to bed in between there? Because I know it's really wide open for a long ass way up there.
Yeah.
Once you get out of where the ravine.
Yeah, he could bed in the ravine and then go to
and
the
then
field.
just pop right up there.
And that's why I think that guy keeps hunting in that ravine.
Yeah, he must have a cam down there and gets him slipping right through there.
Yeah, because this guy hunts just as much as we do. He does have an e-bike, crossbow hunter, and he is in this ravine repeatedly over and over and over and over. And we know people to the north of there have pictures on Magnum. We know this dude probably does. But him killing him there is like he doesn't have a shot in hell because the only time he's going to be there is night. I mean, he's got a random shot, but he's not in his core area by any means.
No.
But it's like that picture you get at like 2 a.m. You're like, oh, there's a giant out here somewhere. But you never got a daylight picture of him. You never seen him. If it was like this deer, he would be damn near 2 miles away from you, repeatedly. So I feel like that guy, the only reason he's walking down that giant ravine and hunting is because there is something down there that's perking his interest enough to repeatedly go down in there.
Well, this deer was by this cam, so I'm just going to sit here until this deer comes by this cam.
We talked to him a couple of times. He's decent, seems like he, pretty knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people out there that...
I mean, he's got a lot invested in his setup.
Yeah. And he had a stand on the opposite side of us the year before, remember, up on top of the ridge.
In the tree.
Yeah, in a tree, right where we would walk underneath him every morning and going back to our stuff, and he would stay on this side of the, pretty much ride his e-bike almost all the way to his tree.
Yeah, literally
and then hop
80
out.
yards.
Yeah, then hop off and get in. So we were going way past him. But that was the same time we were out there. We could see 3 guys in trees all out there. We were right in the middle of them. We were like, man, we ain't got a shot. If something runs through here, something's going to be shot at.
Yeah. So back to the time change or the time change. Is that what we're calling
year change?
Time of year change. There we go. Get back to that. Like, I think that's that and how tore up that center part was there. Mm-hmm. I think those 2 things are what I'm most excited about. Yeah. Because if we're in the middle there is a chance he could be at 70 yards again, but more than likely he's going to be less than 40, and it's going to be, it's going to be go time then. So I like that, and the time of year change just because he's been more active on camera during that time frame. And if we would have been hunting last year, we would have probably been in the rut tree, and on the 28th in the morning, we would have seen him.
Yeah.
So then we would have seen him twice.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's good.
Yeah.
But and just hunting in general for me, like that 21st through Halloween is I love that time.
Yeah. It's when they're starting to hit the scrapes, and we haven't really hunted the scrapes because by the time we can get back in there, they're chasing does.
Yeah, it's full.
So
run.
we're like, man, the scrapes are kind of, we'll set on them every now and then if we ain't got nothing going.
Shitload of them out there, just because of the terrain. It's just like Cody said, it's the pasture deal again.
Yeah, you go to the other public we hunt, it's more like a hardwood timber.
You wouldn't get 10 yards and you'd be set up.
You can't pick a scrape to set over. There's just scrapes everywhere. It's just really hard to to pinpoint. But out there, if you find one that's hit pretty good, there's something using it because there's not very many of them. You just don't see it because they're in shoulder height grass all the time, for them, and they're prickly bushes everywhere. And they just don't like making scrapes on. And then you get to where like there's one hardwood tree, there's probably a scrape close, and that's what that ridge has. It has some decent trees on it.
Something that you would think a deer would be in.
Yeah, and it's still the wind does a bunch of weird stuff in it too. We went over there last year and tried to figure that out, but that'll be another challenge. With everything that you change every year, there's definitely a challenge. But we're going into our 4th year chasing. Definitely it was 190 last year all day, so we said 200 this year just to get everyone hyped up. Gets me hyped up to go back in there. But the chance at another 190. We keep saying how many years we're going to have the opportunity to hunt a 190 class deer, but for the last 5 years, we've had the opportunity at a 190 class deer, and 170 or better for sure.
And last year, we hunted there, 3 times, 4 times, that we were like, what if that random giant from July just come out of nowhere and showed up? Like, Magnum is where the heart is, but that random giant.
This random 181 typical,
Yeah, I mean.
This 180, 191 typical, if he shows up.
Yeah, you're all in.
Yeah, and what's crazy is the buck I did shooting out there was like
running
in his bachelor group in the summer, and he came right through the pinch that we thought Magnum was going to come through, which Magnum did come through the day before, and we hunted it again, and then I killed my buck. But imagine if that was the typical that would have come through there. We'd be geniuses. We killed 190 typical off public.
Like, we just seen a 190 here yesterday, set up on that same trail at 190 today.
It just... So, dude,
how dumb does that sound?
The hopes are definitely high out there, but what we did notice was when we did start hunting this area kind of last year, we didn't see the amount of bucks that we normally see.
Mm-mm.
The amount of like other bucks in his area is a lot smaller. So that goes back to... Got to make a decision. Are you going to hunt a buck? You going to hunt to try to kill a buck, or are you going to try to hunt to kill the buck? So that's like we said, we're going to try to be in his zone more. The Magnum days that we decide that we're going to dedicate to him. And that goes to say both of us might not kill because we're dedicating these days. Like last year, we're out balls deep in this public and on the mobile cam on the private.
We got this 150s 10.
Yeah, 150-yard walk, trees or stands already set, 150 10, daylight as hell. We're already hunting. The wind's right for that area. And here we are after Magnum when we could have smoked this deer. So that's a choice that you got to take. And you just got to dedicate those days to saying, okay, I'm going to do this day is Magnum Day. We're going to try to go in there.
Yeah, and just like we said at the end of the No Picnic series, like we were burnt out, we got our ass kicked, and we weren't going to do that again, and we're not necessarily going to do that again per se, but just like Cody said, we are going to have some days where we know, like probably a 3-day stretch there, November, and there's going to be another 3 or 4 day stretch there in the prime of October that you just gotta get in there. And
so probably 6 to 8 days are going to be dedicated to him, and
about as many days as you want to bike out there.
Yeah, I'm not excited for that at all.
No.
Biking that little deer that I shot out of there was brutal. So,
well, we're gonna have 12 people.
Yeah,
out
if we
there.
shoot him, it'd be different. It'd be like, "What'd you shoot? Oh, like a 115. Oh, okay, cool. What'd you shoot? Like a 200. Oh, yeah, I'm coming. grab a kicker point. Let's drag
grab
this
a
thing
kicker.
out. But yeah, the hopes are high just to see what he did last year. He threw up all kinds of crazy stuff. So hopefully he's got
the
a bunch
deepest splits you ever seen.
Hopefully he's got a bunch of crazy stuff going on and just out there kicking around and
doing deer shit
Yeah.
on this piece, because we're getting that dialed in a little bit. So hopefully he just keeps doing Magnum shit and all is good come October 28th.
He keeps doing the stuff that he likes to do, and we're kind of finally over the years picking out the spots he likes to be at the certain times of year, the scrapes he likes to hit at certain times of year, and the routes that he likes to take certain times of the year. And that's where you're like, okay, now instead of me just blindly hunting in an area, I'm hunting in an area that he was here using this trail to get to a point, and that's what I feel like we were doing last year. We were just kind of like, we're in his area. There's a chance that he comes by. And now we're collecting more data, and now we're like, okay, we're in his area, but we're on this trail that he used this day or the day before this day last year to go up here to hit this scrape in the daylight. Or we seen him come off this, not on a doe, just like cruising. Because once you get him on a doe, I don't think you can, he's in that area, but I don't think you can use any of that as actual intel.
No.
It's like he's just randomly doing rut stuff.
Right.
So, but I feel like now we got a better game plan of actually encountering him maybe a couple times, which would I would, if you can encounter him 2 times. If the deer is out of shooting range, what can you do? You can buy a crossbow and shoot further, or you can keep going out there and getting damn near in shooting range. And that's the thing that we've said on this podcast, I don't know how many times. We're really good at finding big deer, hunting them, and getting really close. But that final finish is the problem that we have. And we finish on deer. We kill deer, but when it's the deer, and we hunt the deer a lot. We pick a deer that we like, and we try to kill that deer. And that's something that we like to do. If we were just out there trying to kill any deer, it would be different. We'd be hunting way different areas. We'd be doing things different. But when you have that quality of deer, you're kind of like, oh, maybe I might kill something else, but I'm going to weigh more towards the magnum zone.
Yeah.
So that's the game plan, a little more savage, a little more aggressive, getting into his area, a little more targeted with our cams, not worrying about what else could be out here. Maybe we can get one down early October, and then we can cruise over here and kill him.
Because everybody likes to get big deer on cam.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's nobody that loves trail cameras and all that shit more than us.
Yeah.
And getting, a nice pic of a deer that you would shoot in the daylight.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to sacrifice that a little bit for more Magnum intel.
Yeah. Try to scoop that in his area. Actually have a couple preset stands in his area. That's another game plan. Because the preset stand isn't only an easier option than packing in, it's a deterrent to other hunters, just like us. Oh, man, there's a stand over here. Like, you're going to go hunt this area. Oh, man, there's a stand over here. Maybe he's going to be here this afternoon, or maybe he's going to be here in the morning. Maybe, I've seen this guy in here. He hunts this area a lot. I'm not going to go in there. So that's something that we're going to try to do. At least have 1 or 2 preset stands so we could just go in there and hunt, and then also deter other people from maybe being in that area. So that's something that we noticed last year. We were doing a lot on public. We'd go somewhere, there's a stand, and then you almost like wipe it off. You're like, man, I don't really feel good about this spot. And if there's a mobile cam there, then I'm real like, okay, this guy's got a mobile cam out here. He knows what's coming through. I feel like that the mobile cam's here, this is where he's probably hunting the most. So does this guy hunt once a month, or does he hunt 3 or 4 times a week? Like, what's he got going on? So
he's at least vested to a certain degree to have the cell cam out there running.
So
it's not just like
this is a random
Jim Bob
stand
out
that
there.
he hung 3 years ago and it's still hanging there. But if you got a cell cam that's working in the area, okay, this guy's been in here, invested in this area. He wants to hunt this area. So that's something that we're going to try to do. We don't really run cameras by our stands out there a lot. We're just trying to. We did the one time, but not really. We were so spread out. We have a bunch of cams, but man, when I say we were spread out, we were spread out. We had stuff everywhere.
At least in the center.
Yeah.
There. But there was a couple spots where we had shit kind of tight.
Yeah.
Real tight. On the typical, shit was tight.
We had like 5 cams and
over there looking for West Side.
Yards. Yeah.
Shit was tight.
Yeah.
COVID, shit's tight.
Yeah.
Magnum.
Yeah.
Just trying. That's what we said earlier. Is like trying to locate.
Yeah.
Still alive, bud.
Yeah.
But when you go into the season knowing that, all right, we just got to get in here and be patient and hunker down.
Yeah. Just got to get in there where we know he likes to be, hunker down, and try to make it happen. So every year we're like, we're getting more aggressive. We're getting about as aggressive as you can get on this deer this year, because I feel like this is the year he's either going to get shot or he's going to disappear. Because, I mean, you don't get that many years to chase after this deer. You know, it's just, it seems like, because that deer's been all over that property from when we first found him. Like the first data that we ever got of him, just wipe that off the table. It has no content at all. He was probably a 3-year-old. When he went to a 4-year-old, he completely changed his whole entire core area.
I was just say the only thing that is a picture saying this deer was here.
Yeah.
And I just added another year to the story.
Yeah.
That is it.
That's it. Other than that thing. But then you're like, oh, he'll be back there in the summer this year.
And then when the random typical was up there, I was like, shit, like,
yeah,
he's back to where he was 2 years ago. So maybe it has something to do with the crops.
Yeah.
Or, you know, we can apply this going forward. Yeah. But then it's not Magnum.
Yeah.
And
it's a disaster.
It's still wiped off the board.
Yeah. So that's the game plan. And hopefully you can pick something up out of this to maybe target a buck that you have. Maybe you're spreading yourself too thin on a deer. Maybe you're trying to play the edge on a deer and not crush in on his area because you don't want to bump him onto the private or onto your neighbors. Maybe your buddy, you know, someone else is hunting on your property and you're trying to give him his space. Maybe this is the year we say, hey man, it's dog eat dog out here and we're trying to kill this buck too. So we're just going to go full send on him and do our best. So hopefully some of that relates to you. We are at the point now where the batteries are coming in for the trail cams. We're getting SD cards loaded up. We're holding out. We're not going to pressure him early in the year. We're going to run all mobiles back there, have a really good idea of what we got going on, run mobiles on the scrapes that he likes to go to, try to get that intel off a mobile cam, go in there and strike. Not like cute strategic, like, oh, he was here. Like, the hell is he got going on? This is, in my mind, the best possible way we can hunt him. Let's go do it. Not 87 ideas about, well, if this guy's here, that guy might bump him up here so we could go. No, if we think he's going to be here, we're going to go here and we're going to hunt him. See how that works, because that's something we haven't done. We're always trying to put everything together like a jigsaw puzzle when I want like a 3-piece 2-year-old puzzle. You know what I mean? Fire truck, helicopter, big buck. Got it. I'm nailing this. You know what I mean?
Got him.
That's how I'm going to hunt this year. It's just simple as I can. Run the cams, get the data, hunt what the data says, go from there. So, you got anything else to throw on there?
No, I just, looking for another year of chasing an absolute mega. Very excited to see what he exactly looks like this year. We're not going to not know when it's Magnum this year.
Yeah.
And, just take every hunt like you're going to kill because you can.
Yeah.
And gotta be aggressive but patient.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, you got to be in the zone.
In the
So
zone.
you got to put the time back in there. And that's what we were thinking, like, okay, if we play the edge, how many times is he on the edge in a year? How many times is he in his core in a year? You know, you just got to go where the best odds are.
I'd like to go back to and listen to the No Picnic series, which I haven't listened to it since just, recording and remembering what I said off the top of my brain, of like how many times we said we were in the Magnum zone or we're not in the Magnum zone because it was hot or, like when you're up there on the north, like you're not even close, bro.
No.
So
not even a remote chance that he's going to run by.
No.
You're like,
so yeah, it would be cool to like go back to that and
probably
listen.
about 5 or 6 hunts out of the 18. We're on 3 properties bouncing around,
So I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's 85 degrees out here. He's probably not doing shit at 10 a.m., but here you are hanging and getting ready to make a move and absolutely annihilate yourself.
Yeah. And you're like, well, there's always a chance. And then you see him.
You get set up for 20 minutes like, this is...
Yeah. We ain't seen nothing.
No.
and we did see nothing a lot out there.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, hopefully you guys took some intel from this. This is how we plan on killing a 200-inch on public this year. Quit the cute bullshit stuff and just get in there and hunt our asses off and hunt as strategically as possible and hunt where we know he likes to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys. Like always, try to do the right thing. Try to leave a legacy, and Whitetail Legacy is out.